Hello. For those of you who've seen it, most are probably aware there's, I suppose, an increase in tension in Coolock. And what that looks like is machinery being set on fire. Again, I'm down here comfortably enough away from things. Who done it? I don't know. What could it have been? Could it have been an accident? Maybe, but unlikely. Could it have been angry locals? Of course. Could it also have been agent provocateurs in looking for a story? Of course. So we don't know, right? All we have is what we can see and what we can know and verify. And that is that there's machinery on fire there. And the reasoning behind either sides of arguments and stuff, I'm not really too interested in that here. I want to kind of simplify the situation as it stands, not just there, but across the country, because there's a general theme and because there's a fundamental principle underlying what is going on, or a fundamental conflict of a principle that is leading to everything else that's going on, or that is built into everything else that's going on in Ireland. And that is quite simply that you have two sides that are apparent. One is the government side, and their intention is, and their actions are, to bring in what looks like a never-ending stream of people into the country. Okay. You then, on the other hand, or the other side, you have people who are living in the areas where these people that the government are bringing in are being put, who don't want that. They have gone about things in whatever manner, depending on the different areas they're in. They've gone the legal route, they've gone the local councillor route, and they've gone the TV route, all that stuff. They've gone to protesting outside these government officials' homes. They've gone to confronting them in the street, asking questions. All perfectly legal stuff. But that hasn't changed the flow of what the government is pushing. Okay, so we take the labels off the sides now. So government and locals, whatever you want to call it. We have one side that is the more powerful side because it wields the most power, at least in the eyes of the people and in terms of legal sway and power, governmental pressures and stuff. Okay, so you've this side that are forcing people into the other side's area to stay and live, and for this side to pay for the new inhabitants of their area when they don't want that. Okay, so who I'm speaking to today is the bulk of Ireland, who aren't openly for this or aren't openly against this. They're the unseen, the unspoken, the ones who haven't stood up yet. They're the unaccounted for. Okay, you don't really know. You can get sentiments that there's a larger support of people who are against it, but you can also hear and see that there's a large percentage of people that are for bringing these people in. Okay, and what I would say to them people is just this, or ask of them people, what peaceful resolution would you come up with for this situation, regardless of which way you fall, even if you're just totally in the middle of the road and on the fence about a lot of it? What peaceful resolution can you see coming from this when you have one side who are intent on ploughing ahead with what they're doing, and you have another side who seem to be growing in confidence of saying no to this? So what peaceful resolution do you foresee? Okay, because as it stands, the side saying no to this seem to be resolute, seem to be growing, and seem to be becoming a little bit more desperate too, because of a failure on this side to listen to them, the government side, failure to listen to or respond to the will of the people. Okay, and then you have the government side who are ploughing ahead with what they're doing. So you have an inevitable clash, guaranteed, and then you throw a third party, which is these strange people, into the mix. What peaceful resolution do you see? And if we are to accept that clashes are inevitable as things stand, it doesn't mean anyone's asking for them or condoning them. It's just the logical outcome of what we're seeing now. If it continues on in this flow, what we're going to have is inevitable conflicts. We're already seeing it to a greater or larger degree, and it's going to grow. So, again, what was the peaceful resolution? Because if conflicts are inevitable, And people are going to grow more and more desperate as a result of these conflicts, and people are going to get hurt, and people's blood is going to be spilt in these things. People are going to be plugged into this ethnic conflict or state and people conflict because there will be blood spilt. Their lives are now invested in a certain outcome of whatever conflict comes. And that you don't overcome that in a week or two. Family members will probably die because of this, and die at the hands of something that these people are opposed to, which means they're going to get even more resolute about it. And it'll grow and it'll expand because fire catches the hay, okay? And it'll be fire that is grown in people because of this. So what I would say is this. I would like everyone's voice on this to make themselves totally known and out. What is your position on this? Because then we can know and we can move forward. If it turns out that 80% of the population are in full support of forever changing the demographics and the societal structures of Ireland, then at least we know that. And maybe the 20% who aren't for that can come together, take a couple of counties or a few counties and build up from there. Maybe. But why should this 20% of people, do you really think that they're Irish people? Shots fired. Do you really think that Irish people are going to get up and give up their hometown, their home county, and move somewhere else to start again so other people can take that land? Do you really think that's going to happen? So like the outcomes or the potentials for peaceful resolution to this thing, you could make up as many as you want and float them theoretically, but in terms of practice, they're unrealistic. So what we need to see is, or what would be massively helpful to see, is where everyone stands. Because if we have a massive amount of people that are totally against this, then we can stop this tomorrow. But we need to want that. And we need to know where most people stand on this so we can begin to decide on what the next appropriate step is on these things. Okay? And for people then that would make the claim that the local people do not have a right to stop the government bringing in people into their hometown, in order to state such a claim and to advocate and stand for such a claim, you need, underneath that is the belief that the natives of a land have no right to possession of the land that they've always had possession of for whatever period of time, okay? That worldview is the worldview of all colonizers that have been in Ireland and that have been in different countries and will continue on and probably have been in different planets, whatever the case is. That is the mindset of a colonizer. It's like going into someone's house and claiming that they have absolutely no right to any of the rooms in that house, even though they've always lived there and nobody else has lived there, or people have moved out before and they moved in. That's a crazy claim. And the people who tend to make this claim against the Irish people or against any Western people or any people wherever, they're also quick to claim victimhood by being oppressed and by being colonized. And they want to pull down certain historical and cultural achievements of Western people because they've been colonizers. Whereas these people are openly advocating for the change of trajectory in terms of Western man's destiny by demographically changing and polluting the country, because you're mixing things that don't mix, okay? And that is the worldview of a colonizer, and that's what these people are advocating for. So it'd be great if we could get the bulk of people in the middle. Be honest with yourself. Give your valid opinion, or your opinion is valid. So just give your honest opinion. Because at least we can make an honest decision on where we are and where we need to be going and what needs to happen and who needs to part ways and who doesn't, okay? Because your silence at the moment is costing a lot more than just money. It's costing a lot more than can be fixed with a 10-minute video, you know? So if we could all be on board with at least being honest about where we're going, regardless of what the social consequences are, just be a little bit open about it. We can all, like adults, read the room, know the room and know where we're going and depending on where we want to go, right? That'd be handy, lads. We're all adults here, or we should be. We need to start acting like it again.